Join us today for an insightful conversation with Bob Fresneda, a seasoned leader with decades of experience in running successful international business in an American format. Bob's journey from sales positions to management roles is a testament to his exceptional leadership skills and strategic acumen. Throughout his 15 years at Reidsoft and 5 years at TCG Process, Bob has navigated through various challenges, honing his ability to set clear strategic visions and goals while fostering a culture of growth and innovation. As a passionate advocate for team building and empowerment, Bob's leadership style centers on bringing people together, recognizing their contributions, and collectively driving success to new heights. In today's episode, we delve deep into Bob's insights, experiences, and learnings on vision and goal setting, as well as his remarkable journey as a leader. Well, welcome, Bob.
Well, thank you, Peter. Thanks for the very kind introduction. Thank you very, very much.
It is quite, when I look into your journey, I can see in the majority of time, it has been actually in an international environment, maybe even a European environment, except some Israeli, where you also were working.
Yeah.
That is correct, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's helped shape me as a person, as a father, as a husband, and as a leader, that the world's just not about the United States. So many people born and raised in this country never leave, and so to be able to get that European influence and understand how Europeans view the United States, and for us to be able to take that and be able to wear that in a proud way, but also be able to understand that we're a very small part of this world, and sometimes I think Americans forget that.
So when you look, let's say we move up a little bit. So what
Sure.
is the difference between US and, I know this will be wrong, but it's European leadership. But maybe we'll go a little bit closer. We'll take the Nordic, and then we go a little bit closer. Swedish leadership, because I know you have a lot of experience of Swedes. And why I say this is because we know there's different leadership in Sweden, in Denmark, in Norway, in
Yeah.
Finland, and then we
Yeah.
move to France and Germany, UK, and so on. So
Yeah.
all of these are different, which makes it sometimes complex
Yeah.
for American companies coming to Europe. But if you look a little bit on that from your perspective, running American operations in an international environment, what difference do you see?
Well, I mean, each country is slightly different, but had a lot of experiences, dealing with the Swedish culture and the Swedish executive management approach. And it was very disciplined, it was very structured, and it says, here's the game plan, follow the damn rules, you American, let's go. Follow these rules and you'll be successful. But they also allowed you, in my opinion, to put your personality on it, and they realized that you had to be yourself and you had to sell to Americans the way Americans wanted to sell, but they wanted you to follow the proper branding. So it was very structured, very organized, whereas like you mentioned Israeli and France and whatnot, it's not as structured. It's more laissez-faire. It's more like, it's less structured, I guess. But, we've also done a lot of work, you and I, with German companies, and now with this Swiss company, and it's very structured. Here's the rules, follow them, but put your flair to it and deliver it in the way that the market wants to. Whereas in the U.S. would be like, hey, look, anything's open. It's the wild, wild west. You just got to make your numbers, and so there's different structure to it, and you have to learn to fit into that. The really neat thing about working for a Swedish company and any European company is that you get to go there and show a different side of the United States, not the brash, know-it-all American side. You get to say, look, here's how we're working, and then you get to take that culture back from that country and share it with your team and be able to say, look, we're a part of this team. We are not the team. The team is bigger than us as a whole, this U.S. entity. Even if, the U.S. group might be the largest group or might have the largest revenues, you have to realize that we have to inside of this structure. And I believe you honestly can find better employees if you look for an international company, because people in the United States want to work with other people around the world. They want to learn from other people, and they want to adjust their ways of thinking and try to bring their methodology and their personalities into us and share ours in a good way. So I feel very
Mm.
blessed that a lot of the people I was able to go out and recruit and lead wanted to be part of an international organization rather than
Yeah.
just a California-based company or a New York-based company or something like that.
And I think that is great and also correct. And we also know for European companies, it's sometimes very hard to break into the US market because we don't always understand it's such a large country.
Yeah,
So you have to operate in a different way. You have to be virtual, which of
it,
course is easier today than it was a few years back. But if we look then, you as a leader, what makes Bob successful, and what traits do you see a leader must have? Be running a US team or, as in your case, a US operation, America's operation.
yeah,
What are the key traits you see
yeah,
is important? I know
yeah.
you
Well,
had some in your sleeve there.
yeah, well, you know me. I mean, it's the whole work hard, play hard philosophy, and just be intense all the time and be on, and whenever people need you to be there. But growing up playing sports, you and I grew up playing a lot of sports, and so my leadership was all about, in sports we call it the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, but the game's not over until there's zero time left on the clock, and so till the fourth quarter is completed. And in business, it's very similar, but we call it Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So you play to win, you work hard, you play hard, and people understand that the game's not over. You don't quit until the game's over. And sometimes you get some tough situations. Sometimes you lose some deals that you're counting on. Sometimes your competitor outmaneuvers you. Sometimes you're ahead of the game, and things change. So it's very similar to sports, and it's also, if you think you're the best person and you are the best person on the team, you better be like Michael Jordan, and the rest of us probably aren't Michael Jordan. We better be good team leaders, and we better be able to work as a team. And I know that's very generic, but it's very true. You've seen a lot of leaders out there, and they're stamping the thing. We're going to do it my way, and this is the way to do it. And historically, that doesn't work unless that leader is just so much smarter than everybody else. But if you're going to lead in a way where it's thriving on collaboration and intelligent collaboration between people, you have to be able to share what your focus is, share what the goals are, and then show up every day and realize that, hey, we're a little behind in the first quarter, but check out our pipeline for the second quarter, check out our pipeline for the third quarter. We got to focus on those deals, and if everybody understands their roles and they're all playing together and they're all being treated fairly, I think life's pretty good. And you have your really good years, and the years that you struggle, you better learn from it and be able to explain why you struggle. And that was a big part, I believe.
So you've been recruiting a fair amount of teams. I mean, both
Yeah,
inside the companies for sales team, you have consultant teams, you have customer service teams,
yeah,
and so on. So what is the clue for you, to get a team who actually will perform, when you are putting these bits and pieces together?
yeah.
Um, what are you looking for in terms of the people, or how do you think when you start building the teams?
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's about the collaboration, but it's also everybody understanding what the goal is. Sales has a goal, delivery has a goal, but the end goal is two things: make money and make your customers happy. So if I go off and sell some things that the delivery team can't work, then they're going to be upset, and then the customer's going to be upset, and we're not going to have profits. But and if I'm a salesperson, can't just be focused on my number. I have to be able to understand what my customers want, what the delivery team wants, and so if you look at it that way, if everybody understands the same goal and everybody's working towards that, and the other thing that you and I have always been a big fan of is trying to promote from within and give people a chance to move in. People can start in inside sales or customer success and move on to higher aspirations and higher sales things. And you can take people like I mentioned Dan Anderson earlier. We hired him as a
Mhm.
developer. We made him a director of consulting services, and then we made him vice president of deliveries and whatnot. And Dan's gone out to have a great career. And so if you take the talented people that are well-rounded, that were raised by good people, you support them and you nurture them, and you watch them blossom, I think it works out well for everyone.
Yeah, and it sounds also that you're pretty straightforward with your objectives for the organization,
Yeah.
which I believe is important. I mean, as you say, we're here to earn money
Right.
in the end, and that that may be a harsh objective, and you have the number, etc. Because we know there are so many other stuff around there, with many other things. But on the other side, it really puts this is what is really important because if we make money, then we can make a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah.
Um, so is that what you've seen, working, having clear messages, clear objectives to everyone?
Yeah, yeah. For not only your employees, but for your customers as well. The customers have to realize that, there's probably different terminology around the world, but in the U.S. they call it a nonprofit organization. Where, I've never worked for a nonprofit organization. I've never worked for the government. I've always been like,
Uh,
the goal is profits, and the profits are driven by taking really, really good care of your customer and having them pay you for their services. But the communication internally has to be crystal clear, because I have worked in organizations that struggle with that, and I think it all started at the top without a clear focus on where we were going and what the main goals of the organization were, and then everybody starts failing around and start struggling and not knowing what they're doing every day. And the really, really smart people need that North Star. They need a thing to be looking towards the whole time, for myself and everybody else. And everybody better get online, because the only way it's going to work is if we're all on the same page.
so when you grew up as a leader, so what were some of the mistakes you made, which hopefully you brought with you and said, "Shit, I ain't gonna do that again." Or
Yeah, well,
do, do you have any of those, or it's been perfect
yeah.
all the time?
No. I would like to say I was perfect all the time, but you for as well as everybody else knows me, no, that's not to be the case. There was a time when we were being raised that you just followed whatever the leader said, even if not. And I tried to veer from that, and I tried to respect everybody and try to like communicate and set the goals. But I would listen to people, and I would not just say no. This is it. And so I think some of the mistakes I made, I was very fortunate to become a leader at an early age, and I was
Mm.
managing people that were older than me, and I was trying to show them respect. And I tried to mold myself in the work hard, play hard attributes that my father taught me, but I wanted to put my own personality in it, which wasn't like I'm right and we're going to do it this way. And so I think I kind of in the beginning, I let people influence me a little bit too much, and I think that's normal for when you're a younger person than the people you manage. You take in all their information and you try to appease people, and I think we all fall into that trap, even as we've gotten older in life. We try to make everybody happy, and that's not always the grandfather. The goal isn't to make everybody happy. The goal is to say, guys, look, here's where we're going and here's what we're going to do, and the goal is to be happy, but not every day of your life are you happy. I mean, certain days things are going well, and certain days you have to have some challenges. But you can't just appease people and tell everybody that everything's okay when you have to have those hard conversations. So don't make
You're
everybody
not
happy all the time. Make them focus on the goal and do that. But sometimes there's going to be some tough times.
yeah. So you're not afraid of having those sometimes hard calls when it's needed because that happens in an organization,
Yeah,
uh, either conscious or unconsciously, and you need to
yeah,
have them. But that is not a problem for you.
No, but again,
That's a
but
question.
if we set the real high expectations and the real clear focus that this is what we're trying to do, and the minute we're off of it, so look, this isn't personal. We both agreed that,
Mm.
you were going to represent $1 million worth of business, and I was going to represent $1 million worth of business, and Peter was, and here we are, we're struggling. So, you have to have that conversation, or people don't respect you. And the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same things over and over again,
Mm.
expecting a different result, and then the other thing is that people look at things and they think that hope is a strategy. Well, I hope this gets better, and I hope that. Well, hope isn't a strategy. I mean, you gotta
Mm.
create what's going to be different in the future.
Yeah, no, and that's where you need the leader to get on the teams. One thing I know you are exceptionally good at, and that is celebrations when you guys have done something good. And that does not have to be only with employees. That's actually celebrating also with customers. How,
Yeah,
how do you think there, and what do you do, or have your team doing?
yeah.
Just give some
Well,
examples on that because I think it's such a great thing and it builds such a beautiful culture.
yeah. Well, I think it goes back to the work hard, play hard philosophy. And you've attended as a global executive some of our U.S. operations, customer and partner events here in New Orleans, and you spoke at them and you came and shared the corporate vision, and people wanted to be there because they saw it as a partnership. So they saw, okay, Bob and his team they've been working hard with us. They've been very fair with us. We've established our goals, and we want to go there and learn more about that. And when they got there, hey, they knew they were hanging out in New Orleans, Louisiana. We were going to go listen to some good music. We're going to eat some really good food. We're probably going to stay out a little too late. We're going to be a little tired the next day, but we want to go and we want to participate in that because we see this as a strategic technology and strategic people to help us. So, if you create this boring environment where everybody's just in a classroom all day long and not having any fun, you're probably going to get boring people at your conference, But if you get people that want to come and you listen to some of those presentations, we had some of the largest Fortune 100 companies come speak at our event. Apple spoke at our event, HP spoke at our event, Kraft Foods spoke at our event, Lockheed Martin spoke at our event. I mean, we had some of the biggest companies in the world that were strategically paying all of their supplier invoices through our system and trusted us as an advisor to do that. And we had some really, really smart people from Sweden, from Germany, and from the U.S. that would come in as experts and be able to speak to that. And then you culturally being an international company, and in each of those international companies that were our customers, they understood that, and they're like, okay, I'm not just dealing with this Silicon Valley company or this company from Sweden. I'm dealing with an international company that works hard and plays hard, and they happen to have a user conference in a great and amazing city with good food and good times and good music like New Orleans. So yeah, I mean that always helped.
And that, of course, that boosts also the morale of your employees really performing and outperforming. So
Yeah.
now you're, as you say, you're a granddad right now.
Yep.
Uh, so that means a few gray hair in the sense that you have grown up. Uh, if you look now at the generation taking over in team leaders and operational roles, and of course, young CEOs also, what core advices would you give them to become a successful leader, achieving objectives with the team with them?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm very fortunate that two of my oldest boys took after their dad and started selling software at an early age and have gotten promoted and doing things. And my youngest is in Spain getting his master's degree. So you have to treat everybody differently. But I've taught everybody the whole time, whether it's people that have mentored at a young age or early ages, is that people they respect what you inspect. So if they look at it like if you're inspecting the reports and you're looking at the data and you're asking questions from it, but if you don't pay attention to the reports and you don't pay attention to their pipeline, they don't really care. They're just going to put a bunch of useless data in there. So you have to respect and you have to inspect what they're doing for them to respect you. And then every day, if you look at it, how you lead the young people, you could argue that it's a little bit different than it was when you and I growing up. When you and I growing up, it was probably more like my father's leadership style, that this is the way it's going to be, and take it or the highway. And now the highway is not so straight anymore. It's a little curvy and whatnot, but I think if you continue to do that and respect and inspect what they're doing, they're going to respect you. And then I think you have to look at people a little bit differently now, and you have to look at them and try to coach them that they need to have different skills rather than just being a leader. They have to have their health. They have to be healthy. You have to show up every day. You have to eat the right food and get enough sleep, and you have to exercise, and you have to physically be able to do things at a young age or an early age. And I always tell younger people, if you don't do it now, guess what? When you get older, it's going to be really hard, and you're going to see these people, and it almost becomes impossible. So you have to stay healthy physically. You have to stay healthy mentally, and you have to look at it, your mental health. Like, if you're just stressed all the time because of your numbers, and you're stressed because you're behind your numbers, or you're stressed about next year's numbers, or you're stressed about the people or whatnot, your physical and your mental health go hand in hand together. And I think a lot of times managers just focus on the numbers and they do that, and they don't look at the person and say, physically, I'm worried about you. You don't look the same. Mentally, you seem to be struggling with certain things. You're not comprehending, or you're not paying attention to things that you used to. And then the third part of people is you try to educate the future leaders that you have to have some financial sense about you as well. You can't be living life in a desperate mode. You can't be spending more money than you make. So if you want to spend $200 a year, well, you better go make $300 a year. But if you only make $100 a year, don't go spend $200. And I know that sounds really basic, but I mean, I can tell you in the U.S., 80% of the people are walking around with credit card debts and issues and stuff like that. And I do my best to try to tell people that, your mental health and your physical health have a lot of correlation with your financial health. And you don't have to be Bill Gates or Elon Musk. You don't have to be the wealthiest person in the world to be happy. I mean, I think embodied a lot of what I'm talking about with being financially sound and financially healthy, physically healthy, and mentally healthy. So I think young
Yeah.
people need to hear that it's not just one part of your life that goes. They all correlate, and I think that helps you become a better father, a better husband, and a better leader.
Yeah, no, there's absolute correlation, and the physical, it has such a big impact
Yeah.
on your night's sleep and on everything you do, and the more you're actually out there, even if it's trekking or cycling or whatever it is, the less sleep you need because the
Yeah.
body
Hmm.
handles it better. So, how do you handle work-life balance then? I mean, I know you're a family guy, but how do you make sure you get the injections when you need
Yeah, well, I think
to?
if you keep with that focus about being physically healthy, mentally, and financially healthy, I think it helps with that. I think you have to put your family as a priority. I think you have to put their well-being. And if I look at my career, it means a lot to me to be able to do the things that you and I've done together, and I've done with other people. But nothing makes me prouder than being the father that I am. I mean, that's what gives me goosebumps, and that's what I would rather have on my grave tomb, is that I was a good father than rather than I was a good business leader, because that's always been my guiding force. That's always been my North Star. That
Mm.
that guiding force taught me that And I also thought, I mean, everything's easier to certain people, but being a
Mm,
father was easy to me because I knew how important it was, and that's really what I wanted to do. Being a leader sometimes isn't easy, because I mean, you love your children, and whether they're right, wrong, or indifferent, but they're so much like us, but they're your own spirit and your own blood, and so you love them. Sometimes in the business world, you don't really love everybody you work with, and so so those are the challenges. The work-life balance to me was always easy to take care of because my family was always my priority, and I always knew that I was going to give them everything I needed. I struggled sometimes if there were some people at work that just weren't either ethical or they just didn't work hard or they didn't believe in the concept and they were going behind doors to do things, and like how to not physically shake those people up were some challenges and whatnot. So like the work life balance was easy
mm.
on the family side. The challenges were, the people that you and I worked with, and you were very fortunate, and so was I, that most of the people we worked with are really good. But we could tell stories over some crayfish and schnapps in the future about some of the people that weren't so much fun to work with, right?
Mm. No, that's and of course, and there are all type of people in any organization, and most of the time they all have an important role. And we're also touching on that it changes today even faster with identifying, because we have now a new generation which are brought up with the computers, etc. So I think, as you say, it's having balance. That means you can also do a great on work or being great at work as a leader.
Yeah, and I
But
think
all this
people.
is great. I have one final question, and because that's something I know you love. Um, how do you build, and you'll do that in 2 minutes. How do you build a successful B2B sales organization?
Yeah.
That's a huge question in 2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it all starts with the guiding point of where you want to be and everybody understanding their roles. But in today's world, it's no longer about selling perpetual licenses and whatnot. You're selling subscription, and you have to worry about the churn, and you have to keep it. So you have to have your hunters, and then you have to have the gatherers, and then you have to have the customer success. You have to build the technology with it. But it all boils down to motivation, drive, working hard, playing hard, everybody being on the same page. Whether you're selling complicated things require different kind of people. Simpler things require different kind of people. And I don't mean simple people sell simple things and smart people sell complex things. The people that sell complex things are very much asking the question about what can go wrong. So they have to think through every step, and they can't be too excitable about one step. They realize there's 20 steps. The people that sell the simple things, they have to be on target, and they have to have the numbers behind them, and they basically, it's a different mentality. And some the complex stuff requires more time, more diligence, and I always look for the paranoid salespeople. If it's not such a complex project, I look for the people that don't think outside the box, the people that are pushing hard and realize that I need 10 more calls, I need 100 more calls and whatnot, and they're not paranoid about things. They're just fearless. And so I look at it like, if I'm doing complex things, I'm looking for a quarterback. If I'm doing the pieces where I need to sell 100 things a day, I'm looking for an offensive lineman. I'm looking for somebody to just push me through this. And so a lot of it depends on the product, but you have to get the right personalities to sell the type of solution that you want to bring to the market. And if I look at it for building the teamwork, I think they have to realize that marketing's a big part of this. And I think sales in today's world, we just say, marketing, they didn't do this or they didn't do that. Well, then they don't know what you want till you talk to them. So I think that there's always been a collaboration and importance between sales and marketing, but I think it's even more important today because of the fact that people don't want to talk to salespeople anymore. That younger generation that we talked about, if you look at the systems analysts and the business analysts that are 35 to 45 years old, they don't want to get on a 3-hour sales call. They don't want to meet you for a coffee. They don't want to go see a ball game with you. They want to Google things, and they want to find you. They want to try the product first. They want to look at everything. So the successful sales organization, whether it's the complex sale or the simple sale, really, really needs marketing to have brand awareness and the ability to find them and have the tools that complement the sales cycle so that you don't lose before you even get in the game. And I think marketing can help you come in and instantly have a very credible chance of winning the deal, or marketing can take you out to where even if you are the best salesperson in the world, if your website doesn't reflect the values and doesn't solve the people's problem and the product doesn't look a certain way, you're not even getting your meeting. So I think if I was building from the scratch up, I would focus on the different personalities of salespeople, but my main amount of money and creating of this vision would be on how to market the product to the target audience, and then go get the salespeople to do that.
So this is Bob Fresneda, the king of sales, and love you having here on Growth Leaders by Shot. A big thank you, Bob, for being with us today.
Enjoyed it, Peter, as always. It was a great time. You're a good man. Thank you now.
Thanks.
Goodbye,
Thanks.
everyone.